Okay, so today we are going to talk about design thinking system. So we've all know what is now. I said design thinking is like a process that you are going to follow as a UI UX designer, and we said that there are other processes that you can follow when you want to carry out a product. And I said there are three processes or three ways or three processes you can carry out a product. And we talked about design thinking is one of them. We talked about Agile methodology. We also have about UX Lean. But we are not going to focus on those tools. There are also processes, like this is the three major processes that you as a designer or you in a team can actually use this process to build a project. But today our focus is going to be on design thinking. So design thinking, what is design thinking? Design thinking is a human-centered approach to problem solving that is widely used in various fields, including the UX, which is the UX, user experience design, which emphasize understanding the needs and perspective of users to create innovative and effective solutions. Now, what is this design thinking? It is centered, human-centered, where you get to understand your user, their needs. You get to understand them, where they will have to pour their mind and tell you their needs, tell you their frustration, and where you have to sit down, get their frustration, turn this problem, which is known as pain point, and turn it into a solution for them, which you now have to create a digital product to solve that problem for them. You and I also have a lot of problem that we are facing, You and I have a lot of you and I have a lot of problem that we are facing. Like let's say we've been talking about savings app from the beginning of this class or previous class, where we said a lot of people know earn monthly, some earn weekly, some earn daily, and you cannot tell somebody who earn daily to save money until when it is month time that you cannot save on a digital product. The person will spend the whole money. At the end of the day, the person might only save that day money when it's being given. Okay, so there are a lot of problems out there that you and I need to solve. So today we're going to talk about design thinking process, which is one of the major process you can use in your UX designs. Now, design thinking process in UX design is a structured approach to problem solving that resolve around understanding human users' needs, generating innovative solutions, and identifying design based on feedback. Okay, you get to understand your users, get to know their problem, turn their problem into solutions, and then give it to them for them to test this product that you build. Now, when you're solving the problem, you have to solve it into digital products and then give them for you to collect feedback based on this problem that you have solved. That is what design thinking process is all about in UX design. Now, it is tropically consists of several key stages. Now, in design thinking process, there are 5 stages that you need to follow for you to create a good product that has great user experience for your user. Now, the first stage is empathy. The second stage is define. Third stage is iterate. Fourth is prototype, and the last one is test. Now, let's summarize what these 5 stages is before we can now look into them bit by bit. Now, the first one is empathy. Now, what is empathy? Designers immerse themselves in the designer's world. Now, we bring ourselves down as designers and then penetrate into the user's world, where we get insights into their behaviors, motivations, and then pain points. This empathetic understanding serves as a foundation for defining the problem stated in the next stage. Now, in the next, when you penetrate, now in the empathy stage, where you penetrate, like you bring down yourself as a designer and then go into the user's world to understand their behavior, needs, and pain points. Now, they've told you a lot, like they will give you a basket full of frustration and problems on points. And then this problem, you will not have to take it back to your designer, just like when you go to the market. Now you have to bring yourself down as a middle class person, from rich and to middle class, go into the poor markets, buy things, go back. Let's say you buy Araha tomatoes, both good ones and bad ones. Then you have to go back and then start selecting them. That is what it means. So you now have to go back and define this problem for them, which is now under define stages. You have to define this problem, start making research to find the problem, start looking for the core challenges, start looking for the opportunities to address. So that is what define means. Then in the hydrate stage, where you now have to sit down and then you define this problem. Now this problem, you not turn this problem that you define, you will not turn it into idea for them. You will not create idea, like you create idea. That is where now you're not saying empathy is getting to understand your user, where you have to create your user personas that we did in our maybe week 3 class, you get. And then we talk about user research. Now that user research is where you now have to carry out the definition, where you're not trying to define their problems. Now in the hydration stage is where you now have to create your flow chart and then your wireframe. So that is what they mean. Designers engage in brainstorming and creativity explosion to gain a wide range of potential solutions to defined problem. These ideas are then translated into prototype during the prototype stages. Now, when you've created your wireframes, you've created your wireframes, you've created your flow chart under the Ideate stage. Now, in the prototype stage is when you now have to change those your wireframes into high fidelity, and then you do the prototyping, which is the task I gave some of us, where you have to come up with these screens and then make it prototype. When I click on this button, what should happen? When I click on this particular back button, where should it take me to? I click on next, where should it take me to? I click on this drop down, where should it take me to? So that is what it means under the prototype stage. And then the testing stage is where you are done with your prototype, your final design, your final stage. Then you now have to move this prototype link, make it accessible. Okay, you make it accessible and you push the link out there for people to test your design. Now you will now have to say, oh guys, hello guys, I am working on this project. I will need you to create on this to interact with this project, and you drop the link on the group and everybody click on the link. It takes them to, some of them can use their mobile phone, some of them can use their desktop, and then to start interacting with this project. And then when they're interacting, a lot of us will drop positive and negative feedback. And once you by dropping this positive and negative feedback, this is where you now have to create a Google form with some questions and their feedback, where you will now have to fill in their feedback and answer some questions. Okay, so once they've done, this is what it means by testing stage. So once they are done, you now have to, Google form has a way of getting your response. You get to see the response. You will see the positive and you see the negative feedback. You get all the feedback and then work on the design. That is where you now have to go back to your prototype and then work on those designs. So that is what these 5 stages of design process look like. So that is why you see a lot of people when they'll tell you, my company is using design thinking process. The design thinking process is very, very long. It can take you 6 months. It can take you 6 months for we to use this process to accomplish a project. It can take you 1 year before, once you are done implementing all the good feedback that you got from your user, you can now push this project to the developer for them to code this work. Okay, so that is what it means. Now, why is this design thinking important in UX design? We all know that from this little explanation that I have explained, it is definitely important. Now, even you sitting out there, you understand that I don't even need to tell you. From what I have explained, you will just know that, okay, this and this is important. Now, design thinking is essential in UX design because it places users at the forefront of the design project process, ensuring that their needs, preferences, pinpoints are deeply understood and addressed. This is one. By empathizing with the users, designers can develop a forefront understanding of their behavior, motivations, and aspiration, enabling them to create products and experience that truly understand the intended audience. You get to understand your user, like you get to understand them very, very well. That is why UX is very, very important. This user-centric approach not only enhances user satisfaction, but also increase the likelihood of a product adoption and success in markets. Now, you want your product to be successful, you need to understand your user. So by understanding your user, definitely your user will be the one to make that your project successful in markets. True or false? True. Moreover, design thinking fosters creativity, innovations, and collaboration within cross-functional teams, driving the development of novel and effective solutions to complex problems. By encouraging brainstorming, iteration, and prototyping, design thinking enables designers to explore a wide range of ideas and rapidly iterate on them based on users' feedback. Okay, this is why it is important. This collaborative process not only results in better design product, but also help migrate risks by identifying and addressing issues early in the design process, ultimately leading to more centered, user-centered, and impactful UX design. So you've now understood the importance of UX design. You understand the importance of design thinking in UX design process. So this is the importance. You get to know your users. When you get to know your users, because you're designing for them, you can't just make assumptions. Because whatever I like, Angela might not like it. There are a lot of people that enjoy using CUDA app. There are a lot of people that don't enjoy using CUDA app. They prefer to use OP app. Because CUDA app is at the top right, is small at the top right. People might tell you it is not visible enough for me. I prefer to use OP because the button is visible and it's at the center and it is very, very big. Everybody will tell you what they like and what they don't like. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to design for your user. Don't make an assumption, because if you make an assumption and you put the project out there for your user to use, they might not even come back because it is not suitable for them. Okay, now let's talk about all the stages in design thinking process. Just like I said, we have 5 stages in design thinking process. We have the empathy, we have the define, we have the hydrate, we have the prototype. We have the prototype, and then we have the test. Now the first stage talks about empathy. So what is empathy? We all know what is empathy. Empathize with your user to understand their needs, motivation, behavior, and what and like motivation of this particular thing, where you have to conduct about this particular project that this person has been facing, and all about these particular issues that this person has been facing on a project similar to what you are designing for. Where you have to empathize in exercise to get more deep insights into their experience. Somebody will tell you, I cannot save monthly. I cannot save monthly. How do you expect me, somebody that is a daily earner, to spend monthly? We have 30 days in a month, and I'm platform where I will have to lock my money and I will not pick it till the maturity day. You can tell how frustrated that user is expressing his or herself. Then the next one we have is define. Once designers has gained insight from the empathy stage, they define the problem they are trying to solve. This involves synchronizing this research finds to identify the core challenges and opportunity, and framing the problem stated in the way that guides the design process. Where you see a project that I shared the last time, if you've gone through the project where I said we have the project overview, which is the project we are trying to work on. We have the problem stated, where it is what the user has been passing through, because the problem stated is being created when I have understand my users. Now this is the problem stated, and now I have to go back and then look at this problem and then create a solution for there, where you now have the goals from the project I just shared with you guys, where you now have the goals. Okay, from the goals you now have the process, show you the process of which I use the design thinking process, and then you see the questions I asked my users when I was trying to understand this problem stated, because it was a waste management system that I was trying to build, or that I designed. And then you will see all my the research. I use the quantitative and qualitative research which falls under the problem stated. I've gathered my whole research, then I will now filter them. Some of them tell you, in that question you see some of them tell you they prefer to throw their waste at night. They'll tell you, some of them tell you they prefer to throw it at the daytime. And then I was trying, what if we create an app where you don't even need to bother yourself whether it's daytime, afternoon, or night. You just need to stay at your home, make an order for them to come and carry your waste bin. And a lot of people love the idea, which is what I now created for them. Now I have all this problem is now in this idea. Now this idea I just said, this is where I have to sit down and then I'm creating an idea for them. You don't need to say, okay, every morning go and throw your dustbin. No, just stay in your house, and then we create an app where you just have to download the app, sit in your home, make an order anytime, any day, for them to just come and pick up your waste in your house. Just the same way we have logistics. Now, some of us want to send package to, let's say, for people living in Abuja here, I'm staying at Wufe, and I want to send package to somebody at Zuba. You can tell the distance. I don't have to travel all the way to Zuba to give this person this thing. What will I do? I have to stay in my home, use Uber or Bolt, place an order, like use Uber or so send my parcel. There are a lot of logistics. There's send now, there is a GIG. Just open the app, put your address, put your phone number, put the weight of this thing you are trying to send, then put the person's number, the receiver's information, and then the rider will come to your house, pick it, and then send it for you. All you have to do is just make payment on the platform. So that is something like that. That is the idea that I just generated, where you have to brainstorm. You start creating your flow charts. Okay, if I have this idea in my head, how do user navigate through this project? That is where you now have to come up with flow charts. Okay, if I've come up with the flow chart, how do this flow chart now move from being a diagram into a screen? That's where you now have to come up with your wireframe. You're not trying to generate ideas. You now come up with a wireframe. Okay, in this screen, these are all the information that needs to be on this screen. Okay, then in the prototype stage, which is you've designed how the flow chart, how user is going to navigate through the project. You've designed or you've worked on the wireframe, the skeleton design, of course, which you want, Then the prototype stage is those design you've done. So if you wish to do low fidelity prototype, mid fidelity and the prototype, and high fidelity and the prototype, it is okay, it is good, it's fine if you want to do it in the prototype stage. But just know that in the prototype stage, whatever design you've done, from your low fidelity to your high fidelity, you're going to do the prototype and you're going to push it out there. Now, prototype stage is actually the long stage ever. Like, it is very, very long, because this is where you have to start going in circles. You design, you push, they test, they come back, you make adjustments, you push, you test, just like you're going in seconds until you achieve your goals. That is when, prototype and testing is actually the long stage, because these two together, it's just like you're walking in circles. You design, you push out there, they test, they come back. It's just like both of them are working hand in hand, and the goals in seconds until you achieve the goals. So once you achieve the goals, you can then push this stage to the developers. So that's why you see a lot of companies tell you they are working with design thinking process. You'll see them 6 months, 1 year, they're still working on these projects because they're using the design thinking process, which is very, very lengthy. Now, in a group of teams where we have developers, designers, and all, this is the same stage they follow. But if you are the only designers in that team, it's going to be very, very long. But if you're not the only designers and you have like, let's say we have like 5 designers on that team, this is where you now have to share yourself together. You work, you say, okay, let's use 2 days to go and empathize with users. And then we'll come back on Friday. Let's say we use Monday to Thursday to go and empathize with users. On Friday, we'll come back together, gather, okay, what did you gather? What did you gather? We join hands together and define the problem. Join hands together and create an idea. Join hands together and work on the one we've created idea, which is the normal flow chart. Then we see what we now have to join. Okay, you work on the authentication. You work on the account section. You work on the order feature. You work on the receipt feature. You work on the account feature. You work on the home page. That's where we now have to scatter ourselves and do this. And then the testing, this is where we now have to work together in the testing. So these days don't always happen one after the other. They can mix up. Yes, they can mix up. Now, when I mean mix up is, I don't mean that you should do your testing. There is no way you will do testing before empathizing with your users. You can empathize with your users. You can define the problem, and then you can do your prototyping. But just have it in mind that you will go back and forth. Like you will go back and forth always. This means that designers go back and forth and making small changes, improving along the way. So as you're going back and forth, you are improving. There are some things you will see, you tell your users, this thing is not right. And what if you make it like this? It's better this way, based on user experience. You not just work on whatever they tell you whatever your user tell you. Sometimes majority designers might be right. Sometimes designers might be wrong. Same thing applies for the users too. But this way of working, let them keep the design better and better. So whatever you do, you will have to make the design to be better and better, focusing more on what the user really needs and make the final product more useful and more user-friendly. Do you understand? So go ahead and ask your question.